Gator Boosters organization, in cooperation with WJXT Jacksonville, presents film highlights of the Florida-Georgia game with Coach Ray Graves and sportscaster Dick Stratton.
And quite a contest it was. No tickets available as people had to be turned away. Here's the kickoff. The University of Georgia Bulldogs, undefeated in the Southeastern Conference, kicking off. That's Crawford kicking the football down there, George Grandy, who will return it some 14 yards to start the 1966 edition with Coach Ray Graves looking for his sixth victory against only one defeat over the Bulldogs of Georgia. First down and 10 for the orange and blue of Gatorland, undefeated on the season, winning 7 straight with Spurrier giving to Smith, and we get a sample of what are things to come as far as that great defense. Number 77 is Stanfield. 76 is Patton, George Patton. They're all Americans.
He was under the foul on that last play.
Spurrier starts an attack here early in the first quarter. Football game just getting underway. Sellers is there to make the stop after Richard Trapp hauls in a 5-yarder. They had Trapp pretty well covered in yesterday's contest.
Double covered him all day long and did a real fine job. Georgia has a fine defensive secondary, real quick.
3rd and 4, a big must for the Gators here early in the football game. And the call goes from Steve Spurrier to Larry Smith, quite a combination all season long. And Smith gets the first down of the ball game, exploding for 6 yards. Graham McKeel there, leading the way with a fine block. It's first down, Florida. You seem to find that you could run pretty well on them early.
That's right. We'll talk about this and what we tried to do at the halftime a little later.
First and 10 at the 26, and Spurrier goes airborne here in the first period of play. He's got Jack Coons for a fine 28-yard combination. This gives the Gators plenty of running room in Georgia territory at the 46-yard line. Moving from their own 14, they're down in enemy territory for the first time. It's scoreless. Vince Dooley coach team meeting Coach Graves coach team for the 3rd time in their career, both having a victory. There's Spurrier keeping the ball for 5 yards, and more pressure put on Spurrier than ever before, perhaps in his college career. Great play coming up with a 2nd and 5 at the 41. Graham McKeel explodes for 38 yards, and this brought the Florida fans to their feet.
Fine blocks on this. We'll look at this again, Dick. This was the longest play from scrimmage during the day. Graham got a good block from Smith. You see on the right of your screen there. Harry comes in, kicks out to him. Here's some downfield blocks. Walson, Coons, and Trapp. But Trapp got 2 of them to give Graham that chance to make that long run. Get down in position for the first touchdown.
With the Gators going after their 8th consecutive win of the 1966 campaign, Florida fans are really cheering now as the Gators have a big opportunity, 1st and goal, 3 yards away from a touchdown. The call goes to Smith, and he hammers his way in, threading the needle for 2 big yards. And he's just about as close as he can get without scoring. No score, first quarter, Florida-Georgia Day in Jacksonville, Florida. 62,820 in attendance, the largest crowd ever in Gator Bowl Stadium. 2nd and goal, there's not much running room. The door slams in Spurrier's face. No gain on the play. Bring up a 3rd and goal from about the 1-yard line. There's a bird's eye view of just how far they've got to go. The call, Graham McKeel. He's up and over, touchdown Florida. Barfield added the extra point, and the Gators were off to the big start, leading 7-0. Following the kickoff, it's Kirby Moore's opportunity to try to get the Bulldogs rolling. A 3rd and 8 situation comes about, and he's hunting for Randy Wheeler, who was injured in this ball game and possibly will be lost to the Georgia team for the season. Wheeler grabs it for 4, but Hungerbuehler comes up and makes a jarring stop to end a Georgia threat, which will leave them still 4 yards to go, bringing up a punting situation.
No, Vince was glad to get Kirby Moore back. He needs lots of that Georgia football team. It's a real strong backfield with him.
Stan Crawford taking down towards George Grandy. It's a 46-yard boot, and this takes a Georgia hop, and there'll be, an attempted return but a jarring tackle which is typical on Florida-Georgia Day.
Georgia did a great job of covering the punt.
Third down 6 for Florida here in the first quarter, leading 7-0. And a big rush on Spurrier. He's dropped for an 11-yard loss. Barnadoe is the man that made the stop. Georgia here with its 3rd and 7 at the Georgia 48. Pass interference is called on a 3rd and 7, which gives the Georgia Bulldogs an opportunity to keep their drive alive. Pass aimed at Richter, number 80, and he's a good one. And there is a penalty flag down, which will give them a first down.
Trevor Moore is a better passer, I think anyone realizes. In fact, he's been improving in this department with every ball game.
And from the 29-yard line, as they threaten to tie it up, he proves he's a pretty good runner, too. He's a junior from Dothan, Alabama. And watch this extra effort as the little fella spins and drives for 11 and a first down.
This option is really the best play he runs. He really keeps the pressure on Lawrence, the tailback, 9-5, and Jenkins, 44, fullback. They really got a backfield.
Kent Lawrence is stopped here. He's their speedster. He trusts the sophomore can get for the yard. Bobby Adams and Don Giordano. Number 74, Giordano, played another fine football game.
Great. Tackles all over the field.
2nd and 9, 17 yards away. It's 7-0, but Georgia very definitely threatening here. Lawrence on the carry. Takes a pitch back and get 4 yards. Bobby Adams, number 52, makes the stop. They stopped him again, and they had to rely on Mr. Toe, Bob Etter. He's been a thorn in the side of the Gators, and he's a senior, and I guess you're glad to see that performer go. But here, he kicks a 29-yard field goal. It makes the first quarter score, at this moment, 7-3. Here's the kickoff, and a fellow by the name of Harmon Wages puts on one of the fine returns that we've seen any Gator do in some time. He's a big fella from Jacksonville, Florida. He goes 72 yards, and watch him tiptoe his way, power running, and a burst of speed here, getting to the outside, and now he breaks a would-be tackle here to continue on the way. Fine effort by Harmon Wages, and the Gator fans have something to cheer about again. It's a 7-3 football game, but the Gators with another opportunity. Here's where you probably had to have a touchdown.
The offense has worked real hard on this kickoff return this week, and really paid off.
First down and 10 at the 28-yard line. Quarterback is number 11. It's made quite a bit of fame on Gatorland all season long. Steve Spurrier looking, decides he can't find the receiver, and he threads his way for a 4-yard advance to make it 2nd and 6, as the Gators are 24 yards away from a second score of the day. Larry Smith with good speed here. Good blocking by Graham McKeel, number 43, breaks him away for 9 yards. McKeel has been one of the better blockers in the country. And there you see that number 77, still downfield, giving quite an effort. He played pretty good for a fellow who's been injured. I'd hate to see him at full speed. 1st and 10 at the 15-yard line. It's Smith again getting the call. And the former Tampa Robinson High School football star, just a sophomore in Gatorland, gallops for 8. Things are going along fine at this moment. The Gators down to the 6-yard line. Second quarter of action between Florida and Georgia. The 44th meeting between the two schools, a rivalry that dates back to 1915. Graham McKeel gets the first down as the first quarter comes to an end, with Florida leading the Georgia Bulldogs by the score of 7-3. The fans are in for plenty more at 3.
You're going to see a big play here by Stanford. In a gap 8 defense, he shoots the gap in here on the option.
Causing a fumble, but Steve alert to recover. He's 6'5", that young fella. And he'll be one of the greats at Georgia, there's no doubt. All-American talent to go along with another All-American, George Patton. Pressure again coming from 77. Steve Spurrier throws just a little bit too long here. As trap was open, and that was an important factor. Could have changed the type of football game that was played the rest of the afternoon, but it goes incomplete. And then Trapp, unable to hold on to this football as Steve hits his target, but there's some Georgia defenders there to say something about it.
Been very pleased that Richard had held on, but you can't criticize him with 3 or 4 of them there really determined that he's not going to hold on.
Instead of 6 and a possible 1, the Gators have to settle for a field goal attempt by Barfield that is good, a 26-yarder. And the University of Florida enjoyed, at this point, a 10-3 lead. Here's John Preston kicking off following the field goal that made it 10-3 in favor of Florida. There'll be no return, and this was a bright spot in the Gators' attack, something they hadn't been doing well all season, was kicking that ball deep enough. No return there. Kirby Moore is the quarterback, and big play coming up, and Frank Richter proves to be as tough as anybody I've ever seen, trying to come down after catching this pass. Watch him keep his balance, go down, hit time after time, and make a great effort.
Fine run.
Finally, he's wrestled out of bounds after a 56-yard trip. And Georgia, in an explosive first half, is right back in this football game, threatening to tie it up. 1st and 10 at the Florida 24. Good faking into the line, fakes everybody, but when it's all figured out, Moore has lost 4 because of Don Giordano, who deciphered the play better than anyone. 3rd and 14, they are at the 28-yard line. This is the second period of play, 10-3, Florida winning. Leading at this particular point. We can hope. Moore passing to Richter on 3rd and 14, gets 19, and another big third down play becomes reality, a first down, and he had plenty of good protection to throw. Richter, a very fine receiver. A little concern now for the Gator coaches as the Bulldogs are threatening. Moore carries on the big sweep around the right side, gets 3 yards. Uncle Beulah comes up to make the stop. And he is inside the 5. But Georgia was penalized for delay of the game, and it was a costly factor for them because it gave them 3rd and goal and moved them back to the 8-yard line. They're still down in danger territory as Randy Wheeler comes sweeping the left side after the pitch out. Card and McCall come up fast to make a fine stop, and they are 5 yards away from a touchdown. 5 yards away, and at 4th down, they're going to go for the tie. George Grandy comes up with a nifty interception and a timely one to end this stretch. And the Gators will be taking over at their own 20-yard line. 10-3, Florida holding on to the lead. Georgia moved the ball down 5 yards away but failed to score. It's now 2nd and 8. The Gators got 2 on their first attempt. Now need 8 for the first down. And it's a search for All-American Steve Spurrier to Paulie Walson. He's got it for 12, and the Gators have got a first down. First down and 10 at the 34-yard line. But then Dickie Phillips, along with Bill Stanfield, dropped Spurrier for an 8-yard loss. Phillips played a fine football game himself.
Yes, he did.
Number 50. And the Georgia fans have come to life. I think it was about 50-50 in the Gator Bowl as far as you divide them up, who had the most fans there. Spurrier on 2nd and 18. Giving off to Smith. And Smith cracks for 6. But it's 2 yards shy of a first down, and Georgia operates after the punt. It's 10-3, second quarter of play, as we bring you as many of the highlights as possible. From the shotgun, a big pass play that goes complete, and it looks as though he is well defended, but he came up with that ball. It was Artie King making the grab for 36 yards, and it's being brought up a 4th and 4 situation in the second quarter. Ronnie Jenkins was stopped 2 yards shy by Barrett and George Grandy, and Florida took over. And then another costly play, a fumble that Georgia got the football right back. Spurrier passing complete to Jack Coons, who comes loose of the football. And the Georgia Bulldogs recover. And perhaps they've got enough time to still try to tie up the football contest.
Takes time to century football against Georgia in this first half to hold them to a field goal.
And on a 1st and 10 with little time left, Moore has his pass intercepted by Larry Wrenn. And here was a situation, Coach, where he only had a matter of seconds left to go, perhaps 40, and he was still trying to get a touchdown. Steve probably felt that he needed more against this Georgia team rather than being satisfied with a 10-3 lead just prior to halftime. He was going for broke. Here's Spurrier passing the keel for 6 yards. Taking time out with it was 2nd and 4. He's still going for broke just prior to the halftime. A 10-yard advance to Jack Coon. 1st and 10 at the 46 with very little time left. Spurrier went to Ewalton. Complete and out of bounds, but the clock got you before you could continue on down to try to increase your lead. At halftime, Florida had a 10-3 lead. Preston kicking off to Kent Lawrence, who returns at 19 yards, and Ungerbuehler makes the stop. At this point, you're still very well going along to the plan because some fine defensive plays come up. 1st and 10, Ronnie Jenkins. He's a pretty good runner, too, number 44. Anderson and Card make the stop after he can gain but 1 yard. 2nd and 9 at the 23. 10-3, Florida coming back after the halftime show with the lead. Here's a run by Lawrence. He can grab but 1 yard gain. And it's 3rd and 8 at the 24. Wheeler tries to go to the right side, but Giordano and Brian Jeter make a fine play, and they make a total of 3 yards on 3 plays. 4th and 7, and Crawford will go back into punt formation for the Georgia Bulldogs. Waiting downfield here as we start action in the 3rd quarter is Bobby Downs. It's only a 31-yard boot, and you get pretty good field position. But the Bulldogs, all of them, seem to be a little riled up.
Bobby gets tackled for this.
1st down, 10 yards to go at the 42-yard line. Smith is called on, gets 2. Dickie Phillips makes the stop again. 2nd and 8 at the 44. Spurrier back to pass, looking for Paul Ewalton. The combination pays off for an 11-yard gain. 1st and 10 at the Georgia 45. Smith can get for 2 if Phillips is there again. Number 50. Many individual tackles on this Georgia Florida team.
See, Larry come down many times, one tackle. That was fine tackle by Phillips.
2nd and 8 at the 43. There's a fine defensive play by that big tackle, 77, Stanfield, to break up the pass. 4th and 8, and Spurrier will go back in punt formation. To show you his versatility, watch this effort as he angles it low for the coffin corner. But Richard Trapp is down there to down it, and it's a great team of Etton come out just like you planned. And another fine break for you that you made yourself. This has Georgia deep in their own territory, and this part of the 3rd quarter in the football game is going pretty well along the Florida way. 2nd and 7, and Moore can get but a yard as he's tackled by Giordano, Height, and Card. And they've got to punt the football back to you, so still at this point.
In good field position, good shape. The 3rd down, we left Rents in to handle the punt.
Crawford doing the booting with as much pressure as you can get from your own end zone. It's a 45-yard kick. Amazing modern football, collegiate-wise. All teams seem to have those great kickers. Rents gets a sample of the Georgia tackling as he returns it at 1 yard. Then the tide changed with a 3rd and 6. The usual great play for Mr. Spurrier comes into an interception, something he hasn't experienced all season long too many times. And Lynn Hughes, who was one of the big stars for Georgia, number 16, makes a nifty to give Georgia a little momentum.
I would say this was really one of the big plays in the ballgame.
No running room there for King as he's dropped by Bobby Adams and Don Barrett. And Georgia has to fight the Gator defense with a 4th and 10. They kick out of bounds at the 25.
Let's see it in the field position. from their goal line back and put us back deep in our territory. That was really a big interception by you.
Georgia operating 1st and 10 at the 25. Smith is stopped for a yard loss by George Patton, number 76. Two of the best. So the Gators have got to give the football back in the third quarter to the Georgia Bulldogs. Lawrence makes the fair catch. Now they've got field position at their own 41.
Here comes a great run by Randy Wheeler. He is really a fine football player. Gets that crack on the option and picks up a couple of blocks for a big 25-yard gain.
Down into Florida territory. The Georgia Bulldogs are threatening to tie it up. Third down, must play. They need a yard. Not a very glamorous-looking play here, but Wheeler is stopped for no gain by a great effort by Brian Jetta, who fought off that would-be blocker from his left defensive end position.
Rick will give him credit back in the war. He did. He played that well. Hung out the play and made the tackle.
Well, Brian was rooting for him there on the bench, I'm sure. Fourth down, and they keep the drive alive as Moore keeps for 3 yards. Moving it to the 28-yard line, Georgia with Ronnie Jenkins carrying for 8. And he's just a real power runner. And he gets pretty good blocking down the middle. This is something that Georgia does well every year. They're a good 5-yard team whenever they need it.
He's averaging 5 yards, one of the leading rushers in the conference.
And here's another 5. You'll see why he averages it. 5 doesn't sound like a long distance, but in football, with so many men trying to get back at you, Gator fans have their fingers crossed trying to stop this attack with a 2nd and 5. Kent Lawrence shows good running ability here as he gets the pitch back instead of loping along. Now he turns on the speed.
That's where he really showed his speed. Larry Rentz is real fast hitter, but he just underestimated his burst of speed.
First and goal to go, 4 yards away from a touchdown. And it's a pretty good call when you give the ball to Jenkins. And he just powers his way over for the tying score following the extra point. And after 3 periods of play, it is Florida 10 and Georgia 10. A pitch back to Lawrence, who carries for 3 yards, as Georgia is stretching again. And they fumble out of bounds for another yard gain. Third down, about 8 yards will be needed here. They are 36 yards away from a touchdown. And it's a 10-10 football contest right now. Kirby Moore is the field general for the Vince Dooley Bulldogs. And he goes back. Can't find the receiver. And he carries for 6 yards.
I was afraid of this all day. This is something he has done well all through his career.
It's 4th and 3, however, as Bob Eder comes on to try to make it. A lead for the Bulldogs of Georgia. Unusual for him to miss, but Gator fans breathe a sigh of relief as it falls short. He doesn't miss many, and it remains 10-10. Florida will take over at their own 20. All of the football contests by the Florida Gators this year have been frivolous. This was no different than the others. There's a pass to Trapp. Trapp is hemmed up by, or smothered, should we say, by the monster. Mr. Sanders.
That shows you the speed and the pursuit that he had all day.
Now another fine play with the other All-American tackle will feature for Georgia. Watch number 76. Good lateral movement and good speed. There he is, protecting outside. Now see how he turns around and goes and gets a pretty good runner.
That was a fine defensive play, and that certainly shows right evidently his All-American credentials.
3rd and 5, got to have a first down. Bullseye to Trapp. The Gators do get a first down, and the Gators team comes to life now. It's a 10-10 football game in the last period of play between Florida and the Georgia Bulldogs. First down and 10. But then, nifty play by Len Hughes, who comes up, intercepts the pass right out of the hands of the would-be receiver, and Len Hughes is the star of the moment, the headline of the day. He puts the Georgia Bulldogs out in front.
Kirby Moore was injured last week, and Len Hughes had to play offensive quarterback. And this really strengthened the football team 2 ways. with Trevor Moore coming back, so it's no use to go back to his defensive safety position, and he was a thorn in our side.
There's the expression of how the Gators felt as it was 17-10, and the Georgia Bulldogs stopped the Gators and got it back via a punt again. Pitch back to Lawrence. He's hemmed up by Grandy, slowed down, and Barrett gets a bear hug on him and pushes him back for no gain. 2nd and 10, Georgia. Brad Johnson is called on, and on a 2nd and 10, he gallops for 12 yards.
They didn't wait for themselves when they put him in there either for Wheeler. For fullback Jenkins.
Plenty of power by the Bulldogs at this moment, as they certainly have the upper hand. There is Jenkins again powering for 6 yards. Make that Lawrence, number 24, for the first down. First down, 10 yards to go. Georgia, 4th period. They lead 17-10.
As I said, this is their game now. They're lined up now in the tight slot and just running right at us. Of course, they outweigh our defensive team about 20 pounds per man. This is the thing they did well.
Johnson carried, now Jenkins carried. Both picked up 5. Another first down for Georgia. Down to the 32 they ramble of Florida. And it's the same power Georgia football series that they run. The 44 slips through again for 4 yards. Now let's cut down his average by 1. Moore on a pitch out now. Watch this daring play. He's tackled, and he never gives up. Flips it over to Lawrence. They get it. But the Gators hold, and a field goal would pretty well put it out of reach of the Florida Gators. So Bob Etter comes after missing one. He's only 17 yards away this time. Correct, that's a 33-yard field goal. And it's good as goal this time, and Georgia now owns a 20-10 lead. Gator fans are sad. 1st and 15 for Florida now. This is a desperation situation. Fine play here by Larry Cohn. He got the ball carrier after knocking down the original pass receiver who turned the flip back to Smith. Great play by Larry Cohn. On 4th and 8, the Gators must keep their drive alive to get on the scoreboard if they can. 30-yard is good for 6, but it's not enough for a first down. And the Georgia Bulldogs, with 6 seconds left to go, turn it into another touchdown. More running around the left side, and it becomes a glorious day for the Bulldogs of Georgia. Coach Vince Dooley, that's how powerful their team is. Only took one player to take Vince Dooley off the field. But they certainly deserved a fine victory, and they could go on and become co-conference champions.
Watch for Florida football every Sunday on the television station in your area.